Welcome to Kick Him in the Head, a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews from some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. I'm your host, Yao. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and getting insights into what it takes to succeed in the toughest sport on earth. Welcome to the Kick 'em in the Head podcast. I'm Yao, your host, and as always, I have an absolutely jam-packed MMA episode for you. Today, we're talking all things MMA, including the stunning knockout. The unfortunate is a lot of people would say knockout of the legend Max Holloway at UFC 308. We're talking power slap. We're talking Moreno versus Albazi, which is coming up this weekend. EFC 119 coming up this weekend. Lots of action, lots of drama. And to help me break it all down tonight, I have with me the one and only Kraken. Achi, welcome to the Kick 'em in the Head podcast. As always, what view is this? Oh my
Thanks
God.
for having me again, man. This feels like home now. So yeah, might as well get
Not
tucked in.
get tucked in. I agree, 100% get tucked in. So tonight, as I mentioned, we are looking at quite a lot, including as well Ngannou versus White. And if you don't know what we're talking about, everyone, if they could fight, I think they would have. Dana White and Francis Ngannou have been going at it again. But first up, we have what happened this past weekend in UFC 308, Topuria versus Holloway.
Oh,
I mean, okay, look, this was a great card, but I think I want to get your thoughts on the main event, the KO. Talk to me. How
oh,
did you feel in this moment?
oh, bro. I thought Max was winning, until I saw the scorecards. I saw the referees had the judges had it like I think the 3 rounds were for Taporia, and one judge had it like 1 round for Max. So I just I'm a huge fan of Taporia right now because he was the volume like compared to like the volume that Max had and like the calculated strategic like stepping in and just throwing those combinations, like it's just like a train, like it's either you run away from it or it catches you and it puts you to sleep because Tapore is just another beast, man. Tapore is just another beast. Like his performance was, I think, goat worthy, and yeah, I'm excited. There's a new era. It hurts that there's a new era of MMA, featherweight MMA, but I'm here for it, and I want to see how far Taporia can take this. But like, I'm happy for him, but I'm also sad, but it's the nature of the game, man. I kind of wish like Max had like left after winning the BMF because he had like the perfect picture. He had the perfect picture with him and his wife, and he had the BMF belt on his back. But then, yeah, Taporia, man, is just stunning, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what the new era looks like. And oh,
Shout out in the chats, Fight Week show,
uh,
Dust Up Shakedown. We were there yesterday. Shout out Leroy. Yeah, I agree with you. It was an absolutely stellar win by Topuria. Let's see where he goes to from here because who can challenge him? Other than that fight, other than the main fight, which other fight on this card tickled your fancy?
bro,
For me, well, there were quite a few, but which one tickled your fancy? Just
like there's so many fights, man. There's so many fights. The double spin, like the double spinning back fist from Bullet. Like that was crazy. I'd never seen that. And shout out to Ankalaev. There's so many. This is just like this should have been UFC 300. I'm thinking, but the one fight that I ride with was the Oral Boy, the fight of the night. That was just a slugfest, man. There was so much blood coming from both fighters. Unfortunately, he got his opponent, like his opponent got a cut from the headbutt. Um, but like, bro, that was just something else. It was just something else. But like, shout out to Oral Boy for like fighting, like because like even with the eye, I don't know what round it was, but he was just like had his eye closed, and he went for it and he took it to a decision. So shout out to him, man. He really pulled up. I was rooting for him. Like I think he was on a 12 fight or something win streak, and
Mhm.
they broke it. And I was hurt. I was hurt because like him and Shafkat like kind of like the same looking type of people, like Genghis Khan conquer the world type of fellas. And yeah, that was like my fight, but also the Shara fight. Yeah, I don't want to talk about. I'm still healing from the Robert Whitaker fight, so please don't ask me about that one.
I think with all these fights, like you said, it was an absolutely stacked card. We had a few undefeated fighters who were on the card. One of which is Orbai, who did not keep his O, unfortunately. His O had to go. We had Dos Anjos losing to Jeff Neal. We had Kennedy Nzuchuku versus Beast Boy. Unfortunately, Beast Boy got injured in that fight, but that was it was an interesting fight as it lasted. Good to see Beast Boy
Chris
back in.
Bernard.
Chris Barnett, that's right. Chris Barnett. And then obviously, like you said, Shara Bullet, Petrosian, the double back fist KO, Ankalaev, Rakic. Ankalaev went
Yeah,
distance. Okay, cool. But you said this card was just, oh, Robert Whittaker breaking his teeth, getting them pushed back by Kamzat
oh,
Chimaev. I mean, this card was absolutely stacked. Very, very exciting card.
oh, it was something else, man. And like the Rakic fight, man. He was supposed to defeat Ankalaev, so he was supposed to protect us, um, Alex Pereira fans, from like what is coming. And apparently, him and Pereira got a call from Dana, and yeah, because I saw them posting like phone call emojis, both of them today, and I think they might be fighting in December.
I heard
So
that
we'll
as
see.
well. And I mean, if Pereira comes through and he has his fourth fight this year, he is literally undeniably, almost want to say the GOAT. He might need one more fight to be the GOAT, but 4 fights, 1 year champion. It's not everyone who can do that, especially at his age. There is the over 35 curse, and no one's talking about how he's been breaking the over 35 curse. We saw
He's
Volkanovski
breaking
falling.
curses.
Exactly. He has been shattering every single curse. So, I mean, with performances like that, with accolades like that, with records like what he's currently got, I mean, undeniably. But look, I think they should fight. I agree with Alex. Let's fight now. Let's fight this year because then I'm undeniable. Will he beat Ankalaev? I say yes, definitely.
Uh,
I see that
definitely.
fight going Alex's way,
I
simply
don't
because
see.
Ankalaev is going to try and fight Alex's fight.
Yeah. Yes, I see that. But like, I think Ankalaev is smart, and what he's gonna do is that once they locked in the cage, Dana has no say about how the fight goes. So I'm thinking Ankalaev is gonna fight his fight, and he's gonna take down Alex Pereira, and he's gonna maul him. Because it doesn't matter if it's a boring fight. It doesn't matter if it's a boring fight because it's a championship fight, and once he is a champion, it's it's now his say. He has to pick and choose. So I
Yeah.
think that's gonna be the main outlier. But yeah, I'm an Alex Pereira fan, but I'm really scared for this one.
That one is going to be amazing. And I think if we look at amazing, let's talk about Power Slap 9, which happened this past week.
Oh
You and I did a live watch of this
yeah,
event, 24th of April. Sorry, 24th of October, what am I saying? It,
yeah,
I mean, from start to finish, this
yeah.
card absolutely delivered. Now, a lot of people don't like Power Slap. They say, "Oh, Power Slap's not real fighting. There's no technique." I was on a stream with the guys watching UFC 308 on a live watch along, and they were all saying, "Listen," well, except for one guy, "there's no technique in Power Slap or in slapping." I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean there is no technique?" But be that as it may, Power Slap 9. Let's talk about this card. I know you were very, very excited about this
Oh
card. which fight stood out for you? No, I mean, let me not even prefix it. Which fight stood out for you?
The first fight I think that stood out was obviously the controversial main event. The controversial main event with I think Dumpling had like a case of bad coaching. He was supposed to have won that fight. I think if he hadn't taken the other slap and he had taken the point deduction, he
You
would
would have won the
have
fight.
won the fight and he would have been the rightful champion. And I saw that the crazy Hawaiian is trying to duck him, trying to fight the Hawaiian assassin or something. So I believe he's trying to duck him. So I think he needs to like rematch Vasily Kamatsky, which is Dumpling. And obviously Danny the Pitbull brought it home again. Um, with a DQ, Scott, I think Scott was scared, man. Scott was scared, and yeah. Also, the it was the Kai Ali fight. I think it was the first fight where the dude got like he slapped first, then the guy flinched. Godfrey
Mm-hmm.
flinched, then he knocked out Kai Ali, and that's I don't know, but like I'm rooting. I'm a huge fan of Kaya Lee now. Like after that KO loss, because I've been watching his lives and he's in good spirits. He's in good spirits. He knows where he stands with the slap fight fans, and I just want to say big shout out to him, man, for losing with grace, even though it was like a controversial decision. He didn't say what. Big shout outs to him, man. And also, I would think the John versus Quinones fight. John versus Quinones fight, because I think Quinones pulled it from the fire. Pulled it from the fire because he was. It was like kind of like you didn't know who was winning, because of the slaps. But I think John dislocated his arm, if I remember properly. Then Quiones just slept him and slept him out in the third or fourth round, and yeah, it was just a stellar card. And I see that everybody's coming around now. Gayton McKenzie was at Power Slap 9, and he's raving about power slapping. He says he wants to bring power slap to South Africa, but
Mm, mm,
hoping he
mm.
can like sanction us first so that we can be
Mm.
able to monitor this thing.
Now, with this card that happened in Abu Dhabi, we know what Riyadh season is doing. We know what is happening in the Middle East with the amount of money they're spending on different combat sports, and now hosting Power Slap 9, the first Power Slap outside of Las Vegas. Obviously, Power Slap 10, they're going back in November. With that said, like you said, there's multiple slap leagues around the world, but the only one in Africa, the only sanctioned one, or the only one that's looking towards sanction is Elite Slap Sports here in South Africa.
Yeah.
Speaking to Gayton McKenzie, what words do you have for him to get him to bring Power Slap to South Africa?
I'm saying, man, he has been seeing the amount of unemployment in South Africa, and primarily the amount of crime that is running rampant in South African townships. Hijackings are high, house breakings. Like where I currently am at the moment, Kagiso, is probably one of the highest places in murder rates. So I think he we plead with him to sanction the sport so that we can get corporates involved in the sport, because this sport literally has changed lives. I have living testimonies of guys just coming through and fighting. Like take for instance Hennessy, Halmorata, Stege. Like I have all these guys that have traveled to these places where none of them would have even fathomed, because they didn't have like they never finished high school, they have criminal records. Nobody cares for them, nobody cares for them. So I would say, could you please sanction the sport, and could South Africa please, please, please get behind us, because this sport is changing lives. Yes, you might not like it. You might not like it. You might be a boxing purist, you might be an MMA super purist, but just remember, these guys are risking their lives to get out of their situations at home. And if they want to pursue this route, could we please support them? Because instead of them
Okay.
smoking drugs and doing crime, they're trying to better their lives. So this sport has like that impact. And yeah, I'm hoping
Yeah.
Gaten
I,
McKenzie unlocks the gate.
I think interestingly enough, changing lives, Vasily Kumatsi is actually a farmer in Russia, and his name dumpling comes from the stuff that he farms that actually goes into the Russian dumplings. So, like you said, it definitely changes lives. Another promotion that changes lives that we know and that's very close to us is the EFC, and we have EFC 119 coming up in 2 weeks. Whew, Balelo versus Machabani, the unification of the flyweight championship of the EFC, the trapdoor
Yeah.
spider versus Big Balls Balelo, the 10-hour notice Black Panther. Wow. And finally, the Women's Bantamweight Championship will have a home when Dana Van Veek, the Quiet Storm, goes up against Julia Chuku, one of the most violent women I have ever seen in the heck. So EFC
Oh
118. Oof, it's going to be absolutely electric.
man, like
What,
Van Vick every
what,
time she went. Yeah, you were saying?
yeah,
Sorry.
that's exactly what I was going to ask you. So what are your thoughts on the women's bantamweight finally going from being vacant to having a home? And interestingly enough, by the way, I put the fight into my phone today, and it told me that on the 14th of November, Julia Chuku won the women's bantamweight championship. So that is a very interesting prediction by AI. What were you gonna
Yeah.
say?
I was gonna say, man, like every time Van Veek steps in the cage, her opponent looks like she was run over by a truck, man. She looks like she was run over by her opponent looks like she was run over by a truck. So, um, her, I think her striking and her like groundwork is just so impeccable. I can't wait to see her. I haven't seen the other lady fighting, or I cannot specifically remember her, but like Van Veek is not a boring fighter, because she's just like, and she's like small, but like she just mauls people, and I love that about her, man. Yeah, I would say if I'm picking Van Veek, because she's so exciting.
She's such an exciting fighter. I agree. I've seen Julia Chuku fight once, and like I said, honestly, one of the most violent women I have seen in the hex. She just throws. She's training with Felicitas Mugo, who's going to be fighting for the women's strawweight championship in December at EFC 120. So, let's see what these ladies can bring from that gym. But that fight is going to be a great one. These are the fights that we've got announced so far on the card. Give me two fights here that you're looking forward to as quickly as you can.
I'm look, I'm looking forward to the return of Demba, the spinning heel kick, miss the head of bro. Demba sick, man. Demba sick, like he's from where? He was from Ghana or
He's from
somewhere,
Senegal.
you know,
He's
Senegal.
Senegalese.
Oh, bro, like he's something else, man. Every time he throws these like weird, weird kicks, bro. He's just so immaculate, and I love him, man. I love him. He's such an exciting fighter. I know me and Shampoo are gonna be there when the main card starts, because he's just so he's such a perfect fighter. He's a mixed martial artist, I would say. Unlike Rudy Silva, unlike I Under the Power, who's a striker. I'm Demba Sek is just so. I think he has a Muay Thai background or something, because the way he throws everything, he's just like great, man. So I think that, and obviously my fellow champion, the real middleweight champion of the EFC, Shadrach, man. Shadrach and
Plan
Tsu.
B
Come on,
going
bro.
up
Like
against the
he is,
one and only. Let's cook it up, chef. Simbem, si bonga
Yeah,
nombembe.
he is the real middleweight champion of the EFC. We know Luke Michael. Please stop ducking him, bro. Please stop ducking him.
You
I
need
know
to
he.
stop calling Luke out on the show, though. I mean, this Luke, bro. Look,
Nah, bro.
like
'Cause, like
he's the reason this show started. Like he literally grabbed me and said, "Listen, let's go and do this thing." So I like
yeah, big shout outs to him. But we have to admit that the real number one contender of the middleweight title is Shadrach. And why did he have to go call out Barat, who's like who's that guy? He's peace in Cubani's problem. You know, he's peace in Cubani's problem. He should be dealing with his own, making his own bid, you know. So I think Shadrach, I'm looking forward to that. But like big shout outs to Luke Michael, because I'm in a show, I'm at a show that he helped start. So big shout out to him, but like he's ducking. Shadrach, we know that.
Shout out in the chats. S Dogs MMA Talk. Amazing work out of Texas. They speaking to all the best. They've spoken to John Anik. They've spoken to Mark Goodard. They've got a lot of stuff coming. Shout out the Rambling Dad podcast. McDane Jourdain out in Scotland. These are all the guys. DUSD on Wednesday. Catch us on the Fight Week show. Y'all's favorite fighters don't like fighting. Facts. Look, listen, don't come at my corner. Don't touch me on my corner. Okay, please, Leroy, just leave me on my corner. Um, look, I agree with you with all of those. Signing register, who's watching, everyone's watching. This is episode 41. Kick him in the head. I think, yeah, those fights you mentioned are amazing. I'm not even going to talk about the title fight because we've already talked about the two fights that we're really looking forward to. In the other fights, I agree with you. Seeing Dembasek coming back against Guts Gonzalez. Oof, he lost out in the featherweight Grand Prix, but that's going to be a head kicking fight. Someone in that fight is going to win by head kick. So I'm also looking forward to that fight. And I got to shout out, I got to pick three. Alistair Kunene is back. Alistair, I love Alistair. He's so skilled. Come in until he's in the main card. Got to shout him out. And then obviously, Narek the Beast Simon. Simon, what am I saying? Narek
Simon,
Simons against the
yeah.
returning Tapiwa Katikati. And we know what happened to Tapiwa in his last three fights. So that fight, let's see that fight.
CIT, baby, CIT.
Let's get it. Let's go. Also coming up this weekend, we have Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi at the UFC. I think it's in Edmonton, out in Canada.
Yeah.
Interesting card here. We've got Derek Lewis returning. He hasn't fought in a while. I'm looking forward to seeing him back. I've been watching him out in Edmonton. Lots of fun there. We've got Rose Namajunas turning against Erin Blanchfield. Women's fight. Haven't seen Rose in a while. Looking forward to that. Which fights are you looking forward to this card? And what do you think of this Edmonton card and how the UFC carries their cards in Canada? Because I mean, the last time we saw them, that's where Drickus won the title against Strickland.
Yeah.
Not the best card, that one.
Like, you know, like every time we go to Canada, it's like they give them the most like weirdest cards, you know. Like they're basically they're giving them like Brandon Moreno, who should have fought in like what UFC Noche. Who should have main evented UFC Noche, because like I believe he's the rightful Mexican who would have, like, you know. So like they give them these weird cards, but like I'm looking forward to Derek Lewis. I'm looking forward to
Mhm.
Derek Lewis. Yes, his last fight. Let me see. Like I wrote it on my notes here that I think his last fight he won against somebody who had previously gotten three split decision wins, and I think his fight was just like a highlight thing to just get him like another highlight knockout, get him pumped up again, like get his stock rising. I think he's never
Against
gonna be.
Rodrigo Nascimento, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think I don't. I think Derek is never gonna be like elite, you know, like world champion status, because I believe he's just a fat guy who has hands. You know,
S Dogs,
he's
I'm
just a
sure
fat,
you're going to be in the chats on that one. Keep going, keep going.
yeah, he's just a fat guy who has hands. But also Rose Yamajunas versus Blanchfield, man. Blanchfield is young. Rose has had her time, and she's out on the way. Like she fought like who who's the girl that she fought where like it was like probably the most boring UFC fight of all time, who just retired now. She got married.
Penny.
Penning, right? Like I think Rose Yamayunas is probably gonna get mauled to death because Blanchfield is she's young and she is scary. You know, she is scary. So it's I this is for the first time I will say ever since Amanda Nunes left, I am looking forward to this female fight because it deserves to be in the co-main event spot. Um, yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing Brandon Moreno doing what he does best. Doing what he does best. And I'm thankful for the UFC also for giving him his custom-made shorts because he has earned them. He has earned them.
Former champion. I agree. He has earned them. I'm also looking forward to this fight. I'm also looking forward to this fight card. But what I'm looking forward to right now is my favorite part of this show. Fighter of the week.
Fighter of the week.
Fighter of the week. Absolutely love this segment. And I think I'm definitely going to go first, as always, on the fighter of the week. And my fighter of this week is the one and only Shara Bullet Magomedov. Now, if you don't know who Shara Bullet is or what Shara Bullet has done or why he is my fighter of the week, I think you should take a look at this video because this video shows why Shara is an absolute legend. Here is him training. Here is him practicing why is it going so slow? A double spinning back fist in open sparring, followed up by what you call an absolute perfect execution. Why is it going so slow? In the fight of a double spinning back fist. Okay, this video is just absolutely destroying my point and making me go too long, but that is why Shara Bullet is my fighter of the week. Over and above that, additionally, it turns out that this move was 100% out of Tekken. If you play Tekken, you would know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in
Crazy.
Tekken, that's a move that Brian. Am I frozen? Can you see me?
I'm back now. I'm back. I can see you.
No, I'm the one who's frozen on my side. There we go. I'm almost back.
Okay, cool.
Get rid of that video because clearly that video was killing me. But double spinning back fist, and yeah, so apparently that move is actually directly out of Tekken as well. If you play Tekken, Brian, that is the actual move that Brian does in Tekken. Is a double spinning back fist. So shout out to Shara for being the pirate who is literally out of Tekken.
Bro.
And who is your fighter of the week? I gave that away.
Yeah. Oro Boy, man. Oro Boy.
Yeah, I gave that one away.
That dude is a savage, bro. He is a savage. I would have loved. I think this fight just he needed to lose. He needed to lose because it hurts me to say this. He needed to lose because I think he hadn't reached his elite status yet. His elite status yet. So I think maybe 3-4 more fights, he's gonna be championship status. And I just love the fact that like even with the eye, bro, like when they were like literally when the cutman was trying to like reduce the swelling, bro, dude was like he was just like he was ready to go. So like I love fighters like that, man. I love guys who are just wanting to slug it out. Not like people who just want to like pants round around the cage like John Jones did when he was fighting, I think Alexander Gustafsson or something. Like we don't want that, like running around. Like I don't remember the exact fight, but like I know he is certified top G right now. So he to me he's in my books along with the Nate Diaz and along with the Nick Diaz, those exciting fighters who are willing to slug it out. So he is my fighter of the week.
And absolutely well deserved. I see why you want him as your fighter of the week. Mentioning John Jones Dana's GOAT, and slugfests. Ngannou versus White. Right now, with everything happening in the MMA world, we obviously saw Francis Ngannou winning at Battle of the Giants against Renan Pereira, of which he said nothing about the UFC. We all know he was fighting for the legacy of his son, who passed away earlier this year. May he rest in peace. And at the following UFC event, Dana was asked a question about what does he think about Francis winning at PFL. So sorry about that. I just realized I left the door open. This mosquitoes. And Dana proceeded to then, let's call it, tarnish Francis's legacy at the UFC, saying things including, that's not the right slide. Hey, there's a slide missing. Give me a second. Sorry.
No problem, brother.
Okay, that slide's missing. Cool. But saying things including Francis isn't a very nice guy. I wanted to cut him after his second loss. People made me keep him. It doesn't matter if he became the heavyweight champion. I still would not have wanted him to become if I knew who he was. Things like that.
What kind of place
which
it was?
Exactly. Which we all thought Dana wants to definitely put on the best fights with the best value for money, of which Ngannou is definitely a good value proposition and a great fighter. Francis then responded to say, look, I don't know why this guy doesn't want to keep me out of his mouth, because what did I ever do to him? I think he's just so embittered that I'm winning and I won. Because Dana then started saying things like Francis would have made more money if he had stayed at the UFC versus leaving and going into boxing. What do you think of this seemingly consistent running battle between Francis Ngannou, the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, the baddest man on the planet, and Dana White?
Personally, I think Dana's scrambling because he's running out of like marquee fighters. Like Connor's out of it. Like John Jones is saying he's gonna quit. Stipe is on his way out. There's all these fighters who are just over 35, and there's nobody that's willing to like shout out to Taporia because he's gonna carry. Shout out to Taporia and Alex Pereira for carrying the UFC and taking initiative. But I personally think Dana's jealous because Francis Ngannou bet on himself and he has delivered. I remember everybody thought like Francis Ngannou was down and out when he got knocked out by AJ. But like look at him now, like delivering on his promise to the PFL and slaying their giant, and like everybody was saying, Francis Ngannou was just fighting, like he was fighting with tears of his son, and he just wanted he just wanted to like let all that, like unleash the beast on somebody else, and it so happened to be a 7 feet tall giant. So I think Dana's just jealous because he doesn't have any more stars, and currently Francis Ngannou is probably one of the most famous UFC fighters because his story also, everybody's just saying like him and Alex Pereira need a story made about them. So I would say that's the reason Dana White is better because he could have been making so much money with Francis Ngannou. Because remember, he was immediately after Francis knocked out Stipe, he was like, if I'm John Jones, I'm moving to 185, because
Exactly.
So I think Dana's just better because he doesn't have um more fighters because like even the heavyweight division is currently stagnant because we're waiting for the greatest pound for pound fighter of all time, John Jones.
To fight the
currently waiting
heavyweight GOAT of the
Yeah.
UFC. Shout out making the walk. Shout out Jax. I agree with you. Dana is definitely angry at Francis Ngannou's success and angry at the money that he's making outside of the UFC and showing that it can get done, because Francis said it can get done. Dana said, you're going to fail. Then again, lots of others have failed. So shout out to Francis and Ngannou for making that happen. Now, Ilya Topuria. We've talked about him quite a bit on the show so far. The current featherweight champion who's knocked out, let's call it two featherweight goats or definitely two featherweight Hall of Famers, 100%, in succession, back to back, after destroying any possible form of competition. Bryce Mitchell,
Yeah.
Josh Emmett, name them. He sat down with DC, who has been going on and on about how well dressed Ilya Topuria is and how he just looks like money, looks like he's just dripping of money. And there's a clip on the socials where he's having a conversation with Ilya and asking Ilya how much money he has, and he's really confused, saying, "You bought a $2 million, sorry, you built a $2 million gym in your house. You just won the belt. How can you have so much money? Your family is rich because usually when you become the champion, you've got a lot of money, but you have John Jones money." Now that's what Daniel Cormier said to Ilya Topuria. He even referenced John Jones, his arch nemesis, which means that
Yeah.
he must really think very highly of Ilya Topuria's riches. Although Ilya has come out to say, "Listen, I wasn't rich. I worked 4 jobs in order to be able to fight, in order to be able to afford to go to competitions, and my things have worked out." What do you think about this, the money aspect? And let me come to one of the most sensitive topics of the MMA world, fighter pay. Because here's someone saying, look, just because I'm a fighter, it doesn't have to pay me. Let me get paid. Let me pay myself, and the fight will pay me more. What are your thoughts? Uh-oh. Ah, he's gone. Okay. Well, my thoughts until Ahi comes back. I say that's exactly what it should be. There's nothing easy in life. We can't do one, two, three things and then expect to be rich forever. So fighting is dangerous, but Ilya Topuria proves it. If you work hard consistently, you keep pushing, you keep going, the money follows you, the skill follows you. Immigrated from Germany of Georgian descent to Spain. That's not an easy background to come from to make it this big. So shout out to him and all his riches, I suppose, and all his nice clothes. Oh, completely lost Aki tonight. Okay, cool. Let's get it alone. Shout out to everyone in the chats. Oh, he has returned.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like, what did I go out?
Yeah, man, you're completely gone.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like, I don't know. Like, something's wrong with my internet or something. Yeah,
No
you were
problem.
saying.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on DC being surprised at how rich Ilya Topuria is already, even though he just became champion?
Hey, man, I just think Tapoya was just smart with his money. Yeah, I think he was just smart with his money. I think he was investing while he was still uh smashing guys like from back in back in his like early UFC career. And I think, hey man, like don't ask a dude where he makes his money, because like we don't judge like Jemaya for having getting cars from Churchnia. So I think we don't judge him for that. Like so, big shout outs to him, man, for providing for his family and giving himself like defeating the stigma of like UFC fighters are underpaid and like yes we know like most get 10-10, but like he's somebody to aspire to because he's not a Conor McGregor. He made himself a star. He's not Sean O'Malley. He made himself who he is, and big shout outs to him. And yeah, if he has John Jones money, bro, like it's his money. Like I don't want to talk about like another man's money because we don't know. He says he worked 4 jobs, and big shout outs to him for that because like we know it's hard for UFC fighters. They come back, they go to the US, they make a ton of money. Some of them like come back home and they don't have anything. So big shout outs to him for capitalizing on his career. And I'm just happy that he's able to provide like a lavish lifestyle. Because even his son was wearing a suit, bro. Like, and big shout outs to Max Holloway for shaking Taporia's son's hand after the loss. That was like real, that was a real thing that he did. So, yeah, DC,
Yeah,
stop
look,
asking. Stop asking. Sorry
Ev-
about it. Sorry.
everybody wants to know. Everyone's speculating. I've even heard things like, "Oh no, he married rich," etc. So, yeah, I agree with you. Whatever the case is, it really doesn't matter. Shout out to him for providing for his family. Um, and I think doing what he's doing and how he's doing it with all the wins. Definitely shout out to Ilya Taporia. I agree. DC, no, DC, keep asking. We like it because we want to know. We're here to tell the
Yeah.
world. Now, one other thing that came out of UFC 308 was a certain Khamzat Chimaev coming
Ish.
through with a win against the Reaper, Robert Whittaker. Now, Robert Whittaker had previously obviously been defeated by the one and only Dricus Duplessis.
Yes. Still
Still not.
knocks. Duplessis.
And we know that a lot of the people have been calling for Dricus to get real challenges of this, that, and the other. And after his fight, Khamzat called out Dricus. Dricus then responded on social media to say, "Let's go. Let's get it, Khamzat. I'm ready. I'm going to take that O." What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on Dricus versus Khamzat?
I love Dricus's confidence. I love him not shying away from this fight. Telling us that Chimaev needs another win for him to, um, for him to get another shot. And shout outs to him for putting Sean Strickland on ice. 'Cause immediately after that win, like Sean Strickland was not in the picture, and Sean Strickland is, I think, like Alex Pereira said, Sean Strickland is currently in camp for that Sydney fight. So yeah, so looking forward to seeing that, and I do not want to lie, I'm petrified. I'm petrified, but like I think what might happen is Chimaev won't be able to fight in Feb, because I think Ramadan starts it in March, right? Yeah, in March. So maybe Chimaev fights in after Ramadan. Then Sean Strickland fights Dricus Duplessis. Then I think the story is gonna go just like the Easy fight. Remember, Easy was like the big guy, the big kahuna. Then he was supposed to fight Dricus. Then he fought Strickland. Then Strickland won. Then I think it's gonna go like that. I think Dricus might fight Strickland in Australia, then lose to Strickland, then Chimaev gets the title from Strickland, then Dricus has to fight Chimaev after Strickland. I don't know. To me, it kind of
Hmm.
looks like that's what's gonna happen. Because the MMA gods, man, they always like throwing curveballs at us. So I think
And
that
MMA maths does not math ever. It
yes,
always goes in all kinds of
so
directions.
so
Shout out to
yeah,
the
this
Fight
is
Week
exciting.
show. Uh, Ola saying, "What did I tell you out? Even Drickers wants that fight while you're campaigning for a Strickland fight." Now, Ola, all I was saying is, I see him saying, "Let me dispatch with Strickland quickly because I know I can beat him. I know where I could have not made it a split in the first fight. My nose wasn't yet done, etc., etc."
Yeah.
Versus, okay, let me just jump straight to Chimaev. So I was just saying he could just do that and then go and fight Chimaev, just fight Strickland just a little bit. Because, Strickland is not the most, okay, fine. Let me not say that because Triggers did come out a bit bashed in that
Don't
fight.
say
But
that. Don't say that
listen,
because that's
I'm ready.
that's what we thought with
If
Izzy.
If Sean
Then
Strickland comes to South Africa to fight Drickus, I'm willing to give him a 1 minute spar. That man will probably beat me to death or take pity on me as a senior citizen, I hope. But
yeah. Oh,
I'm looking to call out Sean Strickland. Okay, well, that's an interesting take from you regarding how it could go. We'll see what the champion does. As we know, the champion always has the last say, and he will be the one that decides, is he going to go against Chimaev or is he going to go against Sean Tarzan Strickland? Shout out to everyone in the chat at Headkick Pod on all platforms. You know where to find us. Making the Walk, the Fight Week Show, Rambling Dad Podcast, S Dog MMA out of Texas. Shout out, guys. Thank you so much for being in the chat. Much appreciated. Listen to this. We heard you as well. Achi, on the socials, where can people find you as always? And what do you have coming up for the next week?
Everywhere on social media, it's Achi the Kraken, and also Elite Slap Sports. Right here, it's the Elite Slap Sports logo. This week, I'm gonna be streaming the Brandon Moreno fight, so I'm gonna try stream that. It's gonna be early, so early in the morning. So yeah, looking forward to that. And yeah, so far I'm still in the works of like planning like a really cool concept with ESS. Then I'm probably gonna push till next year January, and hopefully I could be done with that. And starting from next year, it's just gonna be crazy. I just want to host 12 events like every month, and yeah, hopefully it could be like a great year for me. So like hopefully I could start that, and yeah. But ever since then, like I'm just gonna be streaming, trying to get like work the streaming thing. Then yeah, that's me, man.
Shout out to you definitely. And don't forget me, okay? I'm serious. I'm trying to be a slap coach, bro. Like a slap coach,
No,
like
don't 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 be like Vasily Kamatsky's coach. Okay, tell your guys to
no, bro.
take
I
point.
will make sure.
Tell your guys
Take
to
the
take point.
point. Don't take the slap, especially if you didn't knock him out the first time. If he's this big, strong dude, be smart.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Like I appreciate it, man.
Shout out to ESS Slap Sports. To everyone listening, as always, don't forget to kick him in the head. Salute.
Kick him in the head.